Okay, we're doing something a little crazy this weekend.
We're going to succeed at boondocking for the very first time. And if you're not familiar with boondocking, what is that, Lauren?
It basically means that you're camping with your RV without having water, sewer, and electric hookups. We have another really long trip. So Daniel found a marathon for us to run next weekend in Springfield, Missouri, but that's about 7 to 10 hours RV driving time from just outside of Chicago. So we're breaking it up into a 3-day trip. First, we're staying at a winery. Second, we're staying at a brewery before we finally land at our campsite for the next week where we'll be running the marathon.
Oh yeah.
We're just like, we're gonna need it. Before we hit the road, boondocking, which is also known as dry camping, requires some preparations, starting with filling our freshwater tank.
In order to prepare the Airstream, we're going to have to fill the fresh tank. And if you're like me, when you first got your Airstream, didn't know where the heck to put the fresh water in. I assumed that because this is blue, I know it's silly, that just all the water just goes in there and miraculously it just fills your fresh tank, your water tank. That's not a real thing. There's actually a separate location for the water. And it's neither one of these two. Over to the left, this is where you fill the fresh water tank. And I'll show you. Right here, this valve, and screw it. Then you take your ideally filtered water you're getting from the hose and then fill that tank right there, just like that. Now the trick is also this. There's a valve down below, and typically when you're draining the fresh tank, you leave it open, so it doesn't fill for any reason. But in this instance, we want to close it. If you flip it to the left, it's closed. If you flip it to the right, it's open. So just something to make note of. Make sure the valve is flipped to the left, because you may have tried to fill it and all the water may have ran out. I'm not saying I did that, but maybe somebody did that. So that's a good lesson. Both tanks are officially drained. I've got the waste tank, which is also called the black tank, and I've got the gray tank, which is also called Lauren's tank, if you're keeping tabs. And then this last category here is the fresh tank. And that is now at 100% because I've filled it with the hose.
Now that the tanks are prepped, it's time to hit the road. But in case we've already confused you with all of this talk about tanks, let me explain. First, there are 3 tanks on your RV. The first 2 tanks are for storing used water. That's your black tank, aka the poop tank, and your gray water tank, which is the tank that stores all of your used dishwater, shower water, etc. But your third tank is the freshwater tank. That's the one that Daniel just filled up. It's basically storage for water you can actually use. But you only use it when you don't have hookups. Our freshwater tank stores 54 gallons of water. So water conservation is key to being able to boondock, aka dry camp, for an extended period of time. We're not really all that good at that yet, which is why we're just dipping our toes into the water for the first time with a 3-day, 2-night adventure.
I spy something pretty cool ahead. Do you see what I see?
It's an Airstream! Before we knew it, we had arrived at our very first dry camping spot, Danenberger Family Vineyards in New Berlin, Illinois. One of the biggest perks of dry camping is the ability to stay somewhere stunning like this. It's off the grid, it's free, the views are breathtaking. It's basically the essence of all the freedom you hope for in living full-time in an RV.
This is pretty legit. We're parked outside of a winery. How cool is that? With an amazing view of the plains. They have a built-in restaurant, so we have a place to eat tonight. This is pretty cool.
Since it's a balmy 43 degrees here in Springfield, Illinois, we decided that we're just going to leave the generators in the back of the truck. We're not going to deal with them tonight. We'll live off propane. It should be fine. And we're just going to go see how it goes. But for now, there's music in a winery. All right, let's do this.
This is a double bourbon barrel aged. What style is this? I don't even. Double bourbon barrel aged awesomeness. All right, so true story. It said something about them having an Italian restaurant online, which I think they probably do. Obviously, lots changed since COVID. But tonight they have all barbecue and French fries. So we opted for French fries for dinner. We have some stuff in the RV, so it's not a big a deal, but it's just kind of funny.
Ooh, but they're really good French fries.
Vegan French fries, vegetarian French fries. It's a difference there.
I think you really want this French fry. Do you want this French fry? Is it yummy? Pretty solid? Yeah, I thought they were yummy too.
I think you've got a new best friend.
I mean, the French fries are that good. Adorable puppies aren't the only thing that makes Danenberger Family Vineyards special. The real spirit of the place comes from their owner and winemaker, Susan Danenberger. Not only is she a vibrant, beautiful soul, but she's also battling stage 4 breast cancer. We connected immediately. Daniel shared his survivor story with her, and she invited us to help her with the evening's grape pressing.
So this is just the beginning of fermentation, so I've been fermenting for a couple of days. I let it start a couple days with just a native yeast, and then I just added some nutrients and a yeast D254, which I love for Syrah. It does a really nice job. So this is like every couple hours. Do you want to try?
Oh my goodness, it has a lot more resistance I would have thought.
Yeah, it can be, in the morning, if I don't come out here too early, it's really thick and it will be shocking. And then you'll start feeling it give off a little heat too.
What?
And you can see serious fermentation that's going up underneath there. All that carbon dioxide that's being released right now. So this will probably ferment for another 7 to 10 days. I love Syrah and Cabernet Franc. Those are my two favorites.
I have to agree with you.
It is a core workout. It gets really, really, really
Yeah.
why winemakers are so skinny. No, workout like you wouldn't expect
cool.
it. Has a big auger in it, and then it has another basket with holes.
We've seen those. We were in Bordeaux, France, not that long ago, and got to experience that.
Oh, you did?
Uh-huh.
You didn't take the Airstream there, though, right?
No, we did not. The Airstream is a new thing.
So how many bottles of wine will come out of, say, one of these, what do you even call these things?
We call them macro bins.
Okay, out of a macro bin.
There's probably about 200 gallons. Yeah, it's been a late season this year, but I also love it because, like you said, with cancer, there's always that worry because I am stage 4 and it's now in my rib bone. I'm like, is this my last year? You know, so it's like I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
After the grapes were pressed, it was time for live music, which the winery is known for. Tonight, Susan had 3-time Grammy Award winner Ghost Town Blues Band rocking the stage. Before we knew it, the sun had set and it was time to make the long walk home back to our Airstream.
We are not plugged into anything. We're running off of just batteries. We've powered up all devices we need to. We haven't used any water. We've been able to heat the Airstream with the heater, which runs off of propane, so that's cool. And honestly, it's pretty comfortable. So this is Boondocking. So far, so good.
Well, we slept in our clothes last night because it was a little bit chilly, but we figured out how to work our furnace.
Which is so crazy because we just spent the last week suffering in the cold and we didn't have to. We just didn't know how to turn on the heat.
We've been using our AC units and like using them for heat instead of just turning on the propane burner.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, the air handlers are AC units.
Oh, they work great.
Heat pumps. They do, but they can only warm it up to a certain temperature.
Well, I'm pretty positive that we learned last night that that's not really what they're for.
So silly. This is one of those newbie mistakes that we just didn't really know how to use it. And now that we do, we're going to use it a lot when it's cold because it actually works, and it works well. It worked so well last night. We had to turn it down.
Truth. So, go figure. We're learning things new, but that was our goal of trying out the boondocking thing. So we're looking forward to round 2 of that this evening at a brewery.
So we're about to hit the road, but before we do, we have to wash just a few dishes that we've used. Need some water here. I don't think they're just gonna... Oh. And no water. So we're gonna have to turn the water pump on, which is on the main panel. Okay, bottom right-hand corner of the smart control, water pump. Perfect. I don't want to leave it running because I don't want to go through our entire water supply, so I'm washing some dishes pretty fast here. I think that's going to be the key, obviously. Now if I can get some soap out of here, that would be even better. Ah, there we go. If you're watching me wash dishes right now, and there's a better way to do this, which there always is, please leave a comment below and let us know, because we're always learning, always growing. We understand we're not experts at this yet, still a bunch of newbies, so tips are greatly appreciated. Still feel like I'm using too much water, but no. And this is definitely not a great dish rack. Maybe less water. Just control the stream so it's a little bit less. I feel like I'm playing Jenga over here with dishes. Trying to figure out how to stack them the best way possible so they dry. Now clearly, I'm gonna have to dry these dishes, because can you imagine driving down the road with all this stuff sitting like this? Oh man, we would have nothing left. I'm already losing dishes. Dishes are down. Yeah, that's great. Nailed it. I would say there's a 100% chance that I did not do that right. So I'm hoping for some feedback.
After it took about 5% of our fresh water tank for Daniel to clean the dishes, we decided it was way too scary on day 1 to take a shower. So, dry shampoo and a headband, and we're ready to go. That's where we used to shower normally. I feel like we're giving ourselves a reputation that we're not very clean. But you gotta do what you gotta do. One of the great things about dry camping is how easy it is to hit the road. No hookups means less breakdown. So, off to St. Louis we go to stay at Point Labaddie Brewery for night 2 of our very first boondocking experience. Okay, we've made it to our new home for the night, so that should be celebrated with a beer.
It's good. It's really good.
Per usual, Daniel struck up a conversation with the bartender, who we discovered is actually one of the owners, and we asked him to tell us his story about starting his brewery.
My brother and I started homebrewing in 2004. I had a few buddies who kind of got a couple of those extract kits and asked me if I wanted to come over and hang out and brew some beer. So we tried that, kind of started to get kind of more into it little by little, and then I started taking samples to my brothers, and then my friends actually left town, so we started brewing in my brother's basement and just kind of took off from there. Do like all grain batches, and then kind of making our own recipes after that, and then it just kind of kept going, and we kept growing our homebrew stuff to the point where we're having some beers one time. My brother asked me if I wanted to start a brewery, and I said, heck yes, let's do it. So now, about 5-10 years later, we're here.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, it is still cold AF, and what better to warm the soul than some hot soup? And that's what Laura and I are going to make right now. The thing about living on the road is that even though we have our very famous black bean soup recipe, we're gonna have to work with the ingredients that we have left in the camper, which is always a crapshoot. So we're literally just making up this soup as we go. I guess you could say it's like everything but the kitchen sink, because we're just gonna add some random ingredients, and it is what it is. I'm sure it'll still be good. Got some chili powder in there, got some cumin. I'm gonna grab my measuring spoon, which is my finger right now. That looks about, oh, that's great. There we go. As I learned from the Dalai Lama, one of his famous quotes is, cook with reckless abandon. And that is exactly what I'm doing right now. If you buy any ingredient for the road, buy this. Maldon sea salt. It's like a flaky salt, but it adds the most amazing flavor. It's good on everything from salads to soups. So good. Laura and I like it a little bit spicy, so I'll just add a dash of this. Perfect.
No, that's gonna work better if you actually have 8.
Yep. Holy crap, that scared me. Okay, ready?
You have to hold it
There we go.
in.
I know. Caught me off guard. I was holding the gas down way too long before I actually ignited it. Don't do that, that's stupid. We're 2 months in, and we have yet to purchase a cutting board. We're gonna use this book as a cutting board.
Okay, so at this point, we have added fresh garlic, red onions, which we cut, and apparently, in a camper, it's not the most friendly thing because it doesn't just attack the person who's cutting them, but it attacks everyone. But a little bit of everything in the kitchen sink. I think we're getting close. Now is what Daniel is famous for, is the taste testing time. But seriously, I'm gonna cry, y'all.
I'm just so happy right now. It's mostly because we chopped onions in a small space and it just seems like it's magnified. It's good, but it's definitely not great. We've got some work to do. More olive oil. Definitely not enough in there.
You're really gonna have to open a door or something in here because the onion thing is over the top. I'm still crying. This is painful. It's awful.
How is it going fixing the soup?
Let's just say we're not winning tonight.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. It kind of sucks. It's really bad. This does not taste good at all. So don't judge our cooking by this soup because It is borderline horrendous.
Cooking with reckless abandon has not paid off this time.
So we're like DEFCON 10 right now, and we're desperate. I'm grabbing some Bellmead bourbon whiskey I picked up in Tennessee. My thought process is that this should fix everything. You do a little bit of this, a little just dash, right? And then the final step is to do this to fix your recipe.
Ew.
And if you do enough of those, it will fix this. That's the secret.
See if Daniel's harebrained crazy scheme worked. Actually, that's significantly better. I think if we let it simmer for a couple more minutes, it will officially be ready and no longer icky. Winning.
Gonna add a little razzle dazzle. There's some vegan cheese. That ought to do it. No question. The best meal I've had in the last 15 minutes. But even though this concoction super sucks, the beer is super awesome. So, super awesome beer. Thank you to the brewery. Super crappy soup. Thank you to Fernandez's.
Well, our dry camping dinner didn't turn out as planned. But overall, our first experience boondocking was a success. We've still got a lot to learn about water conservation, food planning, and we still haven't figured out how to set up our generators. But it's all part of the fun. Before we knew it, it was time to head to Springfield, Missouri for my very first marathon. Did I mention that I haven't trained? Make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell so you don't miss seeing it. But until then, we're signing off. Happy wandering, friends.